Franklin's class trip. Franklin could count by twos and tie his shoes. He had gone with his class to the bakery, the fire station, and the pet store. Have you ever been to a bakery? How about a fire station? Have you been to a pet store? Today, Franklin's class was going to the museum. Franklin was so excited he could hardly eat his breakfast. Have you ever been to a museum? I've been to lots. They're really interesting, aren't they? The museum had lots of steps and big, huge doors. Wow, it's big, said Franklin. It has to be, said Beaver. There are real dinosaurs inside. Oh, look at all the animals, the different types of animals. Can you see an opossum? What about squirrels? Can you see a fox? Where's the owl? Do you see Franklin the turtle? Can you see a bear? What about a skunk? Ooh, have you ever smelled a skunk? They really stink. Beaver had been to the museum before. She knew everything about it. Big dinosaurs, she emphasized. So big that they ate trees for breakfast. Franklin was afraid to ask what dinosaurs ate for lunch. Franklin sat down on the steps. What's wrong? Asked Snail. Beaver says there were real dinosaurs in the museum. Snail looked alarmed. That sounds scary. Franklin nodded. In the museum lobby, Mr. Owl went over the rules. No shouting, no running, and stay with the group. Mr. Owl, said Beaver, one more thing. Watch out for dinosaurs. Moose and Bear laughed. Franklin didn't. He moved a little closer to Mr. Owl, wanted to be safe and be protected. The first stop was a bat cave. It was dark inside. Squeaks and squawks filled the air. What's that? Asked Franklin. Beaver giggled. That's the sound bats make to find their way around. Franklin was relieved that it was bats and not dinosaurs. Have you ever seen a bat? Bats fly at night, and then during the day they hang upside down somewhere dark. The class visited the rainforest next. Franklin climbed high into a treehouse. He could see the tops of trees. Do you like climbing trees? I used to climb trees when I was a little boy. Can you spot any dinosaurs? Said Snail. Franklin shook his head and climbed down quickly. There was so much to do in the museum that Franklin almost forgot about the dinosaurs. In the medieval room, Franklin had fun dressing up like a knight. Oh, look at all the different sets of armor they have. You can ask your mom what armor is. Franklin even got to dig in a sandy pit. He was the first one to find an arrowhead. It was just like being a real archaeologist. The best part is still to come, said Beaver as they sat down in the cafeteria. Yes, agreed Bear. Lunch! Mr. Owl smiled. I think Beaver means the dinosaur exhibit. Franklin gulped. I'm too tired to see more. I'll just stay here for a little while, he muttered. Me too, said Snail. You'll forget about being tired when you see the dinosaurs, said Mr. Owl. Eat up and let's go. What are they eating? Rabbit has a carrot stick. Bear has a sandwich. Looks like Franklin has a sandwich too. You can see an apple on the table. Snail, it looks like, has a little piece of lettuce. Beaver's got some sticks and some juice. Reluctantly, Franklin and Snail followed the giant footprints down a long, leafy corridor. There was a loud roar. The floor shook. So did Franklin. He was scared. So am I. Ah! Yeah, screamed Franklin when he turned the corner. He was looking right into the bony mouth of a Tyrannosaurus. Can you say Tyrannosaurus? Try. Good. Franklin blinked. They're bones. Real dinosaur bones. But the dinosaurs aren't alive. Alive? Giggled Beaver. Of course not. There hasn't been a live dinosaur for millions of years. You make good jokes, Franklin. You sure do, whispered Snail. Look how big that dinosaur is. He's huge compared to the other animals, isn't he? As they were leaving, Franklin and his friends walked past the Egyptian exhibit. Next time, said Beaver, you should visit the tomb. There's a mummy inside. Is it real? Asked Franklin. Yes, and scary, said Beaver. But Franklin wasn't scared. He had a mummy at home, and he could hardly wait to tell her about all his adventures at the museum. The end.